And so I was the first two cases of this, I charged accordingly. But then I quickly realized it's not that easy because the documentation requirements require a lot of back and forth with the clients, a lot of requests for this, piling it together, organize it, take hours and hours of time to do it, which I wasn't expecting. So I had to essentially double the fee. And then I got this one case where I doubled the fee, and it was supposed to be an open and shut case, and I felt kind of guilty about it. And I'm like, oh, I charge a lot because of based on previous two examples where I undercharged, and it ended up taking a lot more time and money than I thought it would. And so I was feeling bad about that. But then when we got in the case, all these issues with documentation popped up and requests and having to make the request myself instead of client. It took hours and hours of stuff where it actually ended up making total sense. And so it kind of comes, sometimes we feel guilty about this. Like, oh, did I overcharge this and that? Because we want to be fair with people. I don't want to just take money from people to just take it. I want to, these are families, it's a, this is their money and stuff. I'm not interested in taking people's money if I'm not providing good service or services required. But it just shows like, you got to be careful of thinking like that, because I was thinking about that in this case. And then, once we got started into it, it started taking exactly what I thought. So even though in this case, the documentation should have been clear, it wasn't. And I have all these other cases I can't even get into where they look like open and shut cases. I have several cases right now where when I got the consultation, I'm like, oh, thank God, this is going to be an easy case, marriage adjustment, family cases, and that. And then once we review the documents, like, oh, there's a problem with the marriage certificate. Oh, there's a problem with the birth certificate. There's a problem with residency, history, this, that, what they said in previous applications. And all of a sudden, it created hours of work. We have to talk to the client and do the legal research, prep the documents, and all this kind of stuff. So you got to kind of, average out what the prices are, stick with it, and not kind of give too much discounts, without a bad habit of doing, because it ends up burning you because you're working so much on a case. You don't have time to get new case marketing. You don't have time to think, and you don't have time to pay attention to other cases because something explodes on you and you didn't adjust your time accordingly. So don't feel bad about that, about charges. You got to be fair. You don't want to, rip people off, but just know your prices and your costs and keep track of it, the hours you spend on something like that, so you could charge accordingly.